Good morning and welcome back. It has been a minute. I have needed to rest so badly. I still feel like I need to rest. I am just, it's all catching up to me. I'm sure many of you feel like this. I feel like so many of us this year have been just doing the most, and this holiday season has been like a real gift in terms of relaxation. And so I've really been leaning in my mind. I had all these ideas of things I was going to do during this time off, of like make all this content, plan all this stuff for 2025, do some rebrands, figure out what I'm doing with my Substack. And I haven't done a lot of those things. I've been thinking about them, but I haven't done any actions around it. And to be honest, I think that's okay. I'm trying to just give myself permission to rest and relax, especially right now where it's sort of like the limbo period of we're all trying to figure it out. We're all resting, relaxing, or working, but like not working full. I'm still working for my brand Mary Young. I obviously have things happening during the holidays. It's our Boxing Week sale from Christmas into the beginning of January. So there's always something. There's always something going on, but I'm trying to give myself a bit more grace. And if you saw my last vlog, which was a very realistic, relaxing Sunday where I was exhausted from having my period and trying to do the most, I just clearly need to take my time. So I am taking my time. I'm actually heading to Target. I made a coffee because I just can't rationalize buying one at Starbucks. I love Starbucks in Canada. I hate Starbucks in America. Everything's just so full of sugar. There's nothing that I actually enjoy drinking there, so I'm just not going to buy a coffee there. But I wanted to have that coffee experience. So I made just a drip coffee with oat milk in it to go. I'm going to romanticize doing some errands. I have some errands that I have to do that I woke up yesterday and I was like, oh, we are out of like some very key things for our home. So I'm making this my little enjoyment. My morning, I want to get up and do this so that I can kind of chill for the rest of the day and give myself a bit more, again, time and space to relax. So in honor of still doing things, it's romanticizing them. And I think that's something I'm trying to lean into more, especially in 2025, instead of like rushing through everything, which is what I tend to do as an Aries. I'm trying to be more present. So if that means having a coffee and romanticizing the experience, then so be it. And that is what we are going to do. Honestly, it's just like a morning coffee. Feels so good, especially in a to-go mug. I don't know, it just feels like extra delicious.
Like that's a crazy shot. Like,
I just used my new face, which I just got for Christmas. I have a goal this year to just be a bit more intentional with my self-care and a bit more high maintenance. As someone who has really felt like a low maintenance girl my whole life, mostly because I grew up with a stay-at-home dad and an older brother. So beauty and care and things like that were just like not taught in the household the same way. And I just don't think I've ever given it the same thought or process. And I'm trying to rework my mind around like beauty and self-care in terms of it not being like a frivolous thing or a negative. I know I've mentioned this before, that society really like talks about women taking care of themselves or focusing on their beauty as a negative, Whereas if a man takes care of himself, it's a positive. So I'm totally reworking that for myself, focusing on self-care and skincare. I had a facial a while ago that used the like microcurrent, which is the same thing in the NuFace. So this is just the mini. You can't change like the heads, but for starting point, I feel like this is a great starting point. I'll link it below, but I've been using it every day, which is something that I didn't think I would be doing since I got it, but I've been using it every day, and anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes. I don't necessarily know if I see a huge difference. Obviously, like everything, it takes time, but I think it gives me intentional time to focus on myself, to slow down, which is clearly something I am needing. And in a weird way, it actually feels like it helps with some of the muscle tension that I carry in the top of my head with like my headaches and migraines. And I've used the TENS machines before, which is like similar to microcurrents where it like helps your muscles like spasm. But I always found that those could almost trigger a migraine, whereas this doesn't seem like it's triggering anything, maybe because it's less or it's lighter currents. Not sure, but using this, enjoying. I'm going to put on a little bit of the Tower 28 SOS spray as sort of like a freshener. Let the gel that you put on to do this soak in, do the rest of my skincare, put my Invisalign trays back in, and then get into bed and read because I am so close to finishing this book before January 1st. I have 24 hours to get it done. I'm gonna do it. So I'm really trying to have an intentional evening. As you saw, it's been a pretty casual day. I did my Target run, had a matcha with my husband Michael and one of our friends, his friend Jesse. And then I had some friends over for dinner, which was very low-key, very casual, and very, filling my cup up with good people, good conversation, and then again, pouring back into myself now before bed, especially with reading rather than like just zoning out on the couch and watching TV and not really caring for myself. So I'm really trying to ensure that these routines, whether they're small or they're big, are really about taking care of myself so I continue to feel my best, feel rested, and ready to tackle all the things that are coming in a new year, which often ends up happening. It is New Year's Eve and I have to fix my nail. So I'm putting my gloves on. I literally cut, I don't know if you'll be able to see. You can't really tell, but I cut the edge of my nail right there when I was chopping. And I also have like some weird skin stuff. My eczema has been flaring up, so I'm really annoyed with that. But I cut the edge of my nail cutting food. I like chopped it with the knife. So it's been driving me insane the 2 days. So I'm just fixing that, trying to, as you can see, prepare myself for a little New Year's Eve dinner. Michael and I are gonna go out for dinner with some friends. We have sort of made this our like unofficial New Year's tradition where we go out for lobster for dinner, which I love lobster. I'm so excited. I'm glad I can still eat lobster on AIP. There's no issues with that. So I'm very excited that will be our dinner, and I just want to give myself enough time to get ready for that. So it's early afternoon. I went for a run this morning, obviously did another everything shower. As you know, they're exhausting. It is like work to be a woman and do an everything shower. So I'm again allowing myself more time. I'm also feeling extremely anxious today. I'm not really sure. Actually, I kind of know why. I know why I'm feeling anxious. I've been getting emails and phone calls about work. Let me preface, it's New Year's Eve, so it is December 31st, and I've had 3 calls today about work-related things for Mary Young and emails, and I have my out of office on. It seems to not matter to anyone, and I've really struggled with my anxiety this past year. In 2024, it has been at an all-time high. I have been diagnosed with anxiety in my life from a very young age, unfortunately. And earlier this year, I was, I guess, like re-diagnosed that it is still becoming a problem. And I've also been re-diagnosed with depression, which is super fun to realize that like I've fallen back into, I guess, older patterns that I have worked on to get out of. But I think the biggest thing about depression that I forgot, and even anxiety, is life can be going relatively well, and especially like from the outside look like it's very well, like things are like there's nothing quote unquote wrong, but you will often feel like things are wrong even if there's nothing major. Like the first time I was diagnosed with depression was after my dad died, which very much makes sense for me, and like there was a trigger and the cause and obviously like living with it. Whereas this year there's like no trigger, it is sort of just a state that I have been in. So I've been really working on my anxiety and my depression and working with a therapist, working on myself, different like day-to-day, different things I can work on. Cognitive behavioral therapy has been huge for me. I think CBT is probably one of the best types of therapy for people who are functioning with mental health issues, because a lot of times people don't believe we're going through anything. I mean, a lot of my close friends don't really think that I deal with this, even though I talk to them about it. They don't really, I think, understand to what gravity or weight it is. I think the people very close to me on a daily basis obviously see it, so like Michael or my mom. But today I'm just feeling the anxiety of not feeling like I'm doing enough and feeling like I'm being pulled in multiple directions from people. And being an entrepreneur doesn't help that, because that's just the reality of being an entrepreneur. A lot of people are pulling me in multiple directions and I have to do a lot of different things. So I'm practicing boundaries. I am not replying to people today because I am off. I'm off on New Year's Eve and I am off on New Year's Day. So I will reply to them on January 2nd, which I'm technically out of office for, which my out of office says, but I will reply to anything that is imperative to handle that right away, so that ideally my anxiety can take a back seat and calm down, and I can try to enjoy the last bits of my holiday. So just, you know, the reality of trying to do the work, trying to do the like self-work, having bad days, slipping back into negative patterns or thoughts. So I'm going to do this, slowly do my hair, slowly get ready, but also probably do a little bit of meditation and mindfulness, maybe some breath work to help calm my anxiety. So when I go for dinner and I enjoy the rest of the day, I'm not feeling like I'm in two different places, like mentally in one place and then physically in another, which I think if you've ever felt anxiety, especially social anxiety, that is a great way of explaining it. You feel like you've kind of been split and one half of you is physically there, but your mind and your soul that is so anxious is somewhere else feeling that pressure. So just trying to take care of myself and also keep it real, because that is a big part of me sharing my life, is making sure that if you feel this way, you're not alone. And taking care of yourself is always a priority and should always be a priority. So I'm here to remind you, as I remind myself, to take care of ourselves, to slow down and set those boundaries. Okay, the final look is a monochromatic gray outfit. These are new pants that I just got from Aritzia, very comfy. I will link them because I do not remember which ones they are, but they're obviously a trouser. I do need to have them hemmed, but for now, this length is good for heels. So I'm gonna do heels, a little gray sweater. I think it's Topshop. I will find out. And then as you saw, I did my hair. It is It's very long, so I don't know how long this like wave thing will be held, but you know, it's not bad. And then I did my makeup, and I'm gonna do lips before we go, and that's it. As you can see, I was steaming everything to get it all nice, and I realized I'm gonna be sitting in the car, so this will probably get all wrinkled, but I do love this like gray look for a casual dinner. Then I obviously have my Clio bag. This is my pride and joy, my little Prada, and it's gonna be casual. I can eat as much lobster because these pants have space. And the anxiety, still not great, but we are going to have fun and be present and enjoy life while we are able to live it and enjoy it.
New Year.
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year.
I'm having the coziest night. I try to do a very intentional first day of a new year, and today has been nothing short of that. So sometimes it is getting out, going for a hike. I know last year Michael and I did a long hike on New Year's Day. This year was more relaxing. As you know, that is clearly what I am in need of, is just more rest. So today was more rest, a long afternoon stroll, got some stuff for dinner, had a lovely dinner, and really just took it easy. I am so close to finishing my book. So I didn't technically finish it before the end of 2024, but I'm going to finish it today. I think I have like 12% left. So I will read it until it is done. And we put on a record and just took it easy this afternoon. And now I am planning my intentions for, I would say mostly just January, not the full year. I used to do resolutions. I just find that doing like a full year resolutions makes me feel like I'm trying to do an overhaul of my life, and I don't want to overhaul my life. I want to obviously improve and be more intentional with things. So I actually just bought like a very cheap unlined or lined notebook. So I'm going to use this as my yearbook. I did cut out and print off some different images that I want to use for like the mood board. And I'm going to do some intentional setting in terms of like prompts, words that I want for the year, but then really getting focused on each month. So this is something I'm going to do every month, is have like a little date night with myself to think of the month ahead and plan sort of like the mood, the feeling, maybe like ideally one word that is the theme for that month and things that I want to focus on. Especially right now, January is still very much like winter, not so much in LA because winter is just very different here. It just doesn't feel like winter, but it is still like a wintering season. So getting into rest and making sure that I'm taking care of myself is a part of my theme and my, I guess, like mood, the vibes that I'm setting for this month. So I'm going to write those down. I'll actually just throw some of the prompts that I'm using in my yearbook for you in case you are looking at intention setting, if you want to break it down monthly. I just find this makes it feel less overwhelming in terms of achieving goals or striving for achieving goals, or just like being in clear and intentional day by day, week by week of how I want to feel and how I want my life to feel. So a few things that come to me for January is really focusing on rest, obviously relaxation, reading more, and sort of just like improving my home life. So setting up my desk so it feels like even more restful in terms of not as much clutter, which is hard for me. And then same thing with like the bedroom, maybe getting some new bedding this month, putting that on my manifestation, seeing if there's a big sale or somehow I can get some new bedding, not at full price, But things like that so that I can make my home space and my time here feel even more intentional and resting. So I'm going to do this. I have my iPad out to scroll Pinterest for some more mood. I have set a candle. I obviously have my sparkling water, and this is sort of like my own date night. And then what I plan to do at the end of January when I start a new month and do this same intention setting for like February, March, so on, is do reflection from the previous month. And I'm really excited to have sort of like a little yearbook that I can look back on ideally next year. Obviously, as the time progresses and passes, have this sort of as a memento of what 2025 was, what it brought, and remembering each month, because what I feel from last year is the year flew by and I have no idea what I did in each month. Like I have to go through my camera roll to even remember what I did. So I do also want to try to print out more photos from my camera roll at the end of the month and put them in as sort of like a month recap and make sure that I'm being obviously intentional with how I want the month to feel, but also recognizing what I've done and the life that I'm living. So it doesn't just feel like, oh my gosh, the year is flying by and what have I done and where has the time gone? So I'm going to leave the vlog here. I am so thankful for all of you being here. If you haven't subscribed, now's a great time. This year is going to bring so much new stuff. I've been starting to brainstorm and plan some new things for 2025. Not putting too much pressure on myself, but would obviously love any feedback, things that you want to see, let me know in the comments or message me on Instagram. You can find me at Ofori-Attah, and I will see you all on the next one. Bye.